Hey everyone, welcome to another Board of Trustees summary and update. Before I get into the update from our last meeting, I do want to give a couple announcements. The first is that we just learned that we're a recipient of over $650,000 from the federal government and FEMA to help us buy a new ladder truck for our fire department. I really thank the Chief of the Fire Department, Jeff Markey, for spending so much time putting that grant together, and Congressman Pascrell for the assistance in allowing us to purchase a new ladder truck, which we very much need. The other is on our administrator search. We have narrowed it down to a list of finalists. The search committee and the Board of Trustees is interviewing those candidates, and I'll be making a recommendation to the board as to who to appoint. We've got a lot of resumes in, we have a lot of qualified people, and we're really excited about getting an administrator back in who can take the reins full time. The other announcement, just to remind people, that the South Orange Volunteer Rescue Squad is beginning their fund drive. And if you're interested in donating, volunteering, or learning more, you can visit their website at southorangerescuesquad.org. So our meeting on Monday, we had a couple announcements to get the meeting started. The first was a congratulatory announcement to Carol Anzalone Newman for winning a downtown award for all of her work with Main Street and helping revitalize and build our downtown. So congratulations, Carol, for all the hard work you've done and for the award that you just received. Another is an announcement about our Board of Trustees meetings, which have been redesigned to hopefully make things a little bit more streamlined and efficient. Whereas in the past we had discussion meetings and action meetings, we've combined both of those functions into the same meeting, as we did on Monday, and we really think that's going to allow us to spend our time a little bit better. The other is First Night for Maplewood and South Orange will actually be celebrating its 20th year anniversary this year, and that will be December 31st from 4:30 to 10:30 at Columbia High School. You can buy wristbands at firstnightmwso.org. Village Hall offices and village facilities will be closed Friday, December 23rd, Monday the 26th for Christmas, and Monday, January 2nd for New Year's. Just a reminder, a public safety reminder for everyone, we're trying to encourage the continuation of the Light the Night campaign. If you have porch lights or stoop lights or walkway lights on your front lawn, that on some of the streets that don't have as great lighting as some of the other streets in town, that turning on some of your outside lights like that really makes a big difference in terms of the visibility walking around town. We had a couple of presentations Monday night in our board meeting. The first was from the Cougar soccer program. They talked a little bit about what they do, the really incredible amount of money they've raised, and different ways they've been involved in not only obviously helping a lot of our local kids learn and play soccer and learning the teamwork and all those great things that go along with that, but also helping purchase goals and redo the lines on the fields, things like that. We have actually created slots for nonprofits to come in and present about what they do. So if you have a nonprofit or a volunteer organization or anything like that in town, and you want to come to a board meeting and talk a little bit about what you do to make sure people are aware of it, please drop me an email or a clerk and let us know, and we'd be happy to schedule in for a slot. SOPAC also gave their one of their quarterly reports. I mean, congratulations again to SOPAC's Executive Director, Michael Bollinger, who recently got engaged at SOPAC. So that's a pretty exciting event for everybody. And if you want some more details of that, of the presentation from SOPAC, you can go on the website. We approved our minutes and moved on to a number of ordinances that were on for second reading on Monday night. The first was our salary ordinance, which did pass 4-3. Basically, that readjusted the ranges for all of our non-contractual and supervisory personnel, basically people that weren't part of collective bargaining units. That salary ordinance establishes new ranges that make a little bit more sense than the old one. We'll also be bringing a resolution into our board meeting the next meeting to give a 2% raise to those personnel. We also had our pay-to-play ordinance that was up for second reading as well. That passed, and that allows a contractor to continue if there's a cost overrun, for example, or a new piece of a project that needs to be done, to allow the village to use the same contractor to complete that second phase and not have to go out to bid again. And that passed. That passed as well. We had a refunding bond ordinance which passed. We had an ordinance to redesignate part of our code as far as the definition of landscapers to basically bring it up to guidelines of state statutes. That passed. We had an ordinance on first reading, which was about bicycle racks, and that ordinance was on the table from our last meeting and is still on the table. We had some discussion items on Monday night as well. Now this is kind of the part of the meeting that used to be the conference agenda. Now it's just one section of our regular meeting. The first was an update from our assessor about the village reassessment. So that about more than 4% of homeowners have met with the reassessment company to talk about their numbers. If you have any questions about that, you can contact about the assessment. You can contact the village. Our village council gave an update about the East Orange Water Commission litigation there, and just talking about the steps that South Orange is taking to make sure East Orange Water is accountable for the services that they provide to our residents. Our interim administrator, Regan Burkholder, talked about a salary study. Basically, what the village would like to do is start to institute performance and merit-based pay, so that it's not just pay raises necessarily for all employees, but people who really show that they're putting in 110% and being creative and thinking outside the box. And we want to make sure to reward those employees who are really putting in the extra effort. We think that's the right thing to do to try and incentivize that sort of behavior. We have some really great employees that do that now, and they should be rewarded for the good work that they do. We agreed to give a go-ahead to allow the YMCA to supervise the Baird basketball court again. Kate Schmidt from Baird and Recreation Department was there to talk a little bit about it, and that's been really successful on all counts. So we wanted to make sure to continue that. We spoke briefly about Village Hall renovation. Trustee Goldberg gave a presentation about the history. That presentation in a PowerPoint and the information contained therein should be on the website as well if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about that. We're really excited about renovating Village Hall. It's obviously a large project. It's a project that, unknown to many, has actually been discussed for almost a decade to do, and every year the cost goes up, not only in the deferred maintenance costs that we pay to keep the building really together, but also the cost of construction, materials, etc. So we're really excited that we're finally going to take this right step and renovate this really incredibly beautiful historic building that after the renovation should really be one of the high points in our downtown as far as aesthetics go, and reorganize the inside to provide a much more efficient layout for our staff that work here. We had a discussion about our priorities, coming from a priorities workshop that we had. Considering the length of last meeting, we put that off until our next meeting to discuss that piece. We had a public comment period, as always. I really don't like to try and summarize what people talked about. If you want to watch the video of the meeting at southorange.org or read the minutes, that contains a much better synopsis of what people came in to speak about. We had 17 resolutions on the consent agenda, which as always, I will scroll down the screen for you to see. One of those resolutions, of course, is always our resolution to go into executive session. There were 4 items, 3 items on the executive session agenda, and then one more that we added during the meeting. That was a DPW shared service, status of administrator consultant project list, the administrator search, and East Orange Water Commission. We did approve our consent agenda. We approved our bills. And then last night we actually made a number of appointments. Some of the appointments to boards and committees are done by the Board of Trustees. A handful are done by the village president. So I did make those appointments, and I'll just quickly read them now. To the planning board, I appointed Daniel Allen, Allison Brown, Thomas Hutt, and Harold Colton Max. To the Environmental Commission, Walter Clark, Sarah Jane, James McGowan. And to the Public Library Board, Whit Waterbury, Hildy Karp, and Leah Lard. We're really excited to have people volunteer to continue to help us on all these different boards and committees. And if anybody's interested in serving in that capacity, please let us know. We adjourned our meeting and moved on. That was our last meeting for the holiday season. And again, I hope this has been a helpful update to some of the things that we've discussed in the board meeting. If you have any questions about any of these items or anything else that's going on in town, please don't hesitate to come by my office hours on Tuesday afternoons, or to drop me an email at atorpey@southorange.org. Of course, you can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook to keep up to date on more frequent updates about what's happening in town. Thanks, everybody, and please have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you in the new year. Take care.